What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 10. We start today's stuff with a trip away to Monza as we'll take on Mancuso's side. I was hoping to see him again, of course, after last season where he was on loan with us and had a fantastic year winning the Serie B assist title. But not in the Monza squad at all. So I was sitting there thinking I probably should have picked him up in the summer when I had the chance, because he certainly would help us a little bit this season in terms of putting the ball in back of the net, which has been my biggest struggle this year. My defence this season has definitely tightened up, no doubt about it. Heading into the Serie A, that was my main concern. I feel as though the signing of Martinelli on a free transfer, primarily Alexandra on that left-hand side as well, and of course Caprile between the sticks has done a really good job for me. But going forward, I have been struggling to create as much as I did last season. Well, you've only got yourself to blame for that, obviously, boy. You could have signed Mancuso, who won the assist title last season. You decided against it. Anyway, Monza weren't playing him either, and in this game after we took the lead in the first half, Monza would fire through Adley with 20 minutes to go and level it. But right from kickoff, aiming to restore our lead, D'Acunha swivelling finds Selnaze to Alberto Villa, offloads to D'Acunha, and his second goal of the game gives us the 3 points with 17 minutes to go. I haven't used D'Acunha as much this season due to the signing of Saponara, who's come in. But last season, he was pretty solid for me, and he ends up bagging a brace, which proved to be the big reason we got the 3 points. So 2-1 the final score, and a big win there, back to winning ways. And for the following game, back home, Bologna. Heading into this game here, knowing right now as we approach the halfway stage of the season, we're starting to pull away from the bottom three just a little bit. With every single point, every single 3 points especially, we're starting to edge away from the bottom three. And I did say this season in the Serie A, that's my only real priority. Yes, of course, when the cup comes around, it would be nice to go on a bit of a run. Yeah, I'd love to try and sneak into the top 10, and you never know, perform a miraculous season where we have an outside shot of Europa Conference or Europa League football, but really just staying in the Serie A in our first year in the top tier is good enough for me. So every single point we get edges us ever closer to getting over that line come the end of the season. And so as we do enter the official halfway stage here of matchday 19, taking on Bologna, Barrow gave them the lead, but Lucas Collar leveled it with 2 minutes to go. That would mean at the halfway stage, this is the table. Juve are topped by 3 points, of Roma in second, Napoli in third, and Atalanta in fourth. Fiorentina, last year's champions, are in eighth. We're in 14th. That point now means we have 22 points on the board, and we've now gone 9 clear of Empoli in 18th place. Lecce still winners to start the season off, really struggling. So I feel as though at the moment there's only 2 places I'm worried about, 18th and 19th place. But yeah, for now we're 9 points clear of Empoli in 18th place, and we're doing our job. So the January window comes around, we're doing a pretty decent job with Como right now, keeping them in mid-table in the Serie A, and that's why the league leaders Juventus decided to sack Allegri and offer me the job. Yeah, it was hard to be calm when discussing that. Why? Why would they do that? What possible reason is there for sacking a manager when you are top of the table, 3 points clear, going for your first Serie A in years, and then hiring a guy who, yeah, okay, has done quite well with Como, but nothing spectacular. It's not like we're third. It's not like we're on course for a Champions League place next season, and we went up last year undefeated or whatever. We're doing fine, but not that good. Why, after 18 months, would I be offered a job with league leaders Juventus who have just decided to sack their manager? What? What a load of nonsense. And this to me, and I mention this all the time, but this is where, the part of this game really falls down. Listen, FIFA career mode, I don't know whether it can ever be properly realistic, but there is no sense in that whatsoever. Now, if we were to be offered a job at Fiorentina, for example, that would make sense. Last year they won the Serie A title, but this year they're in 8th. They're really struggling. It could be like a Claudio Ranieri, example of when Leicester won the title all those years ago. But the following year, they were really struggling. I remember that year because my team, Millwall, dumped them out of the FA Cup early on. But they were really struggling. They sacked Ranieri. Was it Shakespeare that took charge straight afterwards? But even so, I could understand that, I could understand that. Not going to repeat what they did last year. So let's move on for fresher, younger blood. I could understand that. I could understand if it was one of the teams that are really, really underperforming. Perhaps a team that's below us right now in the table, even though we are considered weaker than them statistically. I can understand that. But Juventus, top by 3 points. What? It makes no sense. Manager job offers, you get like 1 per save. And that's my one. That's the one I've been offered. It's not a Cagliari or a Bologna or a Spezia just below us in the table. No, it's the top of the table. Juventus going for their first Serie A title in several years. Right? Yeah, sure, okay, that makes sense. But even so, following that, we had a 2-0 loss against Sassuolo. Moukoko getting the goal there. I wish he was that consistent in my Borussia Dortmund football manager save right now. He's so hot and cold in that save. But even so, he opened the scoring and then they doubled it to win the game 2-0. Following that, though, we did dump out Salernitana in the Coppa Italia. So we are through to the next round as our run continues, now reaching the last 16, where we'll take on Atalanta. But yeah, nice little run in the cup for us now as we go into the last 16 against Atalanta. And following that, with the transfer window now open, I changed the position of Alberto Villa to an official striker. He's done okay for me this year in his debut season. I do like the stats, especially that high defensive work rate as well. You know, I really like that, but I don't know how much better he's going to get with no potential tag whatsoever, even though he's become an official striker. And following that, we have 2 bids for Chazia. I actually put this guy on a transfer list right before the January window opened. They were both from Championship sides, Bristol City and Swansea City as well. In the end, the Robins would meet £875,000, but Swansea City refused to give me an extra 15k. You stingy, stingy Swans. £15,000. That's what I'm asking for, guys. Come on now, you got more money than we do, even though we're a top tier side. But even so, the Robins did meet the £875,000. It looks like he's off to Ashton Gate. Just haven't really used him this season. In fact, to be fair, I barely used him last year either. So with only 18 months left in his deal, it's best to sell him now, whilst his valuation is probably the highest it will be between now and the end of his contract. So yeah, Chadja looks like he's on his way to Ashton Gate in the Championship in England. And following that, back to matters in the league, taking on Empoli here, remaining at Lake Como and heading into the game. 35 minutes in, we would open the scoring. Yep, Pat Cutrone with the goal opens the scoring as Lucas goes down that right hand side and offloads to our local lad. Definitely future Como captain for sure, man, no doubt about it. I don't know how long Belimo will stay in our starting 11, but whenever he's not in the team, I always give the armband to Cutrone. I love Pat, man, seriously, born in Como. And oh, by the way, I forgot all about this. 25 minutes ago, we're leading by 1. Looking to wrap these points up here, and this is a contender for goal of the season. Second assist for Lucas Collar, and he picks out the man who's just become an official striker, Alberto Villa. But this was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, the Swiss right midfielder steps inside, and look at that. That's like a heat-seeking missile, that, to pick out Alberto in the middle. The flatness of the trajectory of that cross with the weaker left foot was just glorious. And then for Alberto's sake, to control it first time with the chest, and then with the weaker left foot, stronger left foot, sorry, smash it in off the post, bottom corner. That was nice, man. Absolutely beautiful. The contender for goal of the season this year as we make it 2-0. What an assist, and what a bit of technique and finish from Villa as well. And in the 94th minute, aiming to wrap these points up and get a third goal, we do just that. Alexandro scores what I think is his first goal for the club since coming in on the free from Juventus, here to raise the profile of the club and remain in northern Italy since moving on from Turin until retirement. Yeah, he's not just here for a paycheck, he's here to help lift Como to new heights. He gets the third goal, and I think his first since joining us. 3-0, big win, we'll take the 3 points there. So following that, Chazia does indeed go to Bristol City, so we'll take a minor transfer fee. It now raises our budget up to around £2.5 million. It's still very small, but it does give us enough money to bring in maybe 1, possibly 2 new players between now and the end of the season. We brought in 11 new signings in the summer transfer window. I don't want to completely, blow the side up here in January, sell on a load of players who aren't playing. But for players like Chadja, who's not played at all really this season and is out of contract at the end of next season, that makes sense. So I look to reinvest before the transfer window slams shut on a new squad player, if nothing else. Even so, following game, and this was one that really caught my eye. Oh, as did that. 25 minutes in, we're down by a goal against Udinese through Pedro de la Vega, and Alberto Villa almost scored from the halfway line there. Yet going for goal from the halfway line. Lobbed the goalkeeper, but unfortunately cleared the crossbar as well onto the roof of the net. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. I'll keep on trying, but so far I've only ever done it once back in FIFA 14. It's been almost 10 years. It's been 84 years. Who knows where I'll be able to do it again. But even so, Pedro de la Vega wrapped it up for Udinese later on in a 2-0 win. And I saw come the final whistle when I was going through Udinese's team that Buffon didn't even make the bench. And I was like, right, do you remember the start of the season when I said, why would Simone come and join us? Udinese had a strong finish in the Serie A last season. Nothing noteworthy, but good enough in mid-table. He's got 18 months left on his deal, and whilst in real life he's already been capped by the Italian team and has had several Serie A appearances for Udinese, he's only played once all season long. He's got 18 months left on his deal, which means that Udinese clearly aren't sure on his long-term future. And I was like, well, I definitely am, because I know this is a player that a few of you guys have recommended to me, including a couple of my Patreon followers. So thank you for that. Appreciate it very much. And I thought, well, if Udinese aren't playing him, and we definitely will, if we could afford him, let's pick him up. And for £2.25 million plus a minor 1% sell-on clause, Udinese cashing in before he walks out the door on a free transfer. Simone is in, and the Wonderkid arrives at Como. One game all season long at Udinese. Phenomenal stats at just 17 years old. I could not work out why they're not playing him. Well, I guess because Pedro de la Vega's doing really well, but even so, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that this guy had only played one game all season long. His stats are absolutely amazing for a 17-year-old. 70 rated, exciting prospect tag. I don't know how good his potential will be, but I'm predicting around the mid to late 80s. No doubt about it, this is a good, young, Italian Wonderkid. And if he's not playing at Udinese, I said to Simone, you know what we're all about, mate. Young talent coming through. Look at the likes of Lucas. Look at the likes of Elia. Look at the likes of Ibrahima. We give the youngsters a chance. You'll get a chance here as well, mate. Come on, leave Udinese. You're not going to get played there. You've got 18 months left on your deal. They'll probably play you a handful of times before the end of that contract. Come to us. Come to us, we'll give you some game time, mate. We'll play you. And Simone does indeed accept the contract. So Profundi is in on a 5-year deal, buzzing with that. And the Wonderkid will make his debut in the following game. Yeah, back home for this one, taking on Atalanta. Sorry, no, we're away from this one, taking on Atalanta. And heading into the game, well, we fell behind early, and then Jeremy Boga did this. I have absolutely no idea why. Maybe Colombo said something to him when he robbed him to win the ball back there, because it was a needless, absolutely needless, cynical tackle from behind. Gets nowhere near the ball. It's a clear red card. And Atalanta, at this point, were in control of the game, leading by 1, and now down to 10 men. So I thought, right, lifeline handed to us by a bit of frustration from the Ivorian. A chance to get back on level terms, and we would. Alberto Sherry taps in from close range. It's 1-1, and then 3 minutes after the restart, Colombo. Well, he might have got credit with the assist, but he gets the hockey assist as Sherry, who scored our first, sets up Simone Profundi, making his debut. I said, you get the starts here, mate. He did in our very next game, and he got his first goal for the club as well. An easy one, tapping in from close range. That was all about Colombo there. The step-o was to get away from his man on that right-hand side. Absolutely beautiful. And Como flip the script and lead courtesy of the Wonderkid. So it's 2-1. Adamola Lookman, would get Atalanta back on level terms, and the 10 men had found their level. Having said that, we were looking a better team ever since we had that man advantage, and in stoppage time, so close to an instant heroic beginning for the new Italian Wonderkid. Yep, Simone Profundi going down that left-hand side, steps inside, but hits the far post. So close to winning it with the final kick of the game, and eventually Atalanta would hold on until extra time. But despite the fact we didn't win it in normal time and we lost our lead, I still felt in extra time, despite Atalanta having the better team, we had the man advantage. We'd been the better side. We had the fresh legs. We had the youngsters. We had the pace. I felt as though we could win this game in the final 30 and prevent a penalty shootout. 116 minutes in, one of the final chances of the game. Well, sometimes you need a bit of luck. And Simone, he didn't get any Udinese, but he'll get the starts here and hopefully some good fortune as well. Welcome to Como 1907, the new Italian Wonderkid and the hero on the night, Simone Profundi. He hit the post with the final kick of normal time and he smacks the woodwork again in extra time, but this time gets a little bit lucky, goes straight back to him and taps it into the open goal. Profundi wins it, a brace on his debut for Como. We are into the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia, courtesy of the Wonderkid. And in the last day, Como will be taking on Roma, Jose Mourinho's side, as Napoli face Milan, Inter, the holders versus Sassuolo, and Juve versus Hellas Verona. So Roma going for a Champions League place and an outside shot of the Serie A will take them on at Como in the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia. But that will end today's episode of the Summer Carimo, guys. So big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you had, then please do drop a like. So you'll have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of the Summer Career Mode very soon.